kind of shorten that. And then we can be smarter about components and size. But the fact is, at the end of the day, what we have now is a very strong relationship between PM mass and DES. And that holds up across urban areas and across size fractions. Now, is it a perfect measure? No. If you got components, you might see a stronger relationship for the specific components. We don't know. So, but that's what we're facing now until we can get to where Syed probably wants us to be.
We are almost out of time. Derek's been waiting since back in the Ray. I'm going to let James ask the last question, so we have time for 2 more questions.
Okay, real quick. Hi, Derek Williams, CHC. I'm a orange grower from the EJ community, so where you got me thinking a little bit. First of all, for those of you who have never been a farmer, let me just talk to the farmer for a second. And I want to say I'm encouraged by the concept, maybe less of compliance than a partnership and vertical integration. I see a lot of great things happening. 2 days ago, I had a call from my pest management advisor. He invited me that we were ready to try a chemical which is new to me, that just really got me excited along these terms. And that is that in orange growing, we have 5 basic spray jobs we have to do a year. And so just from a practical standpoint. And every time we do, we're talking thousands of acres up and down the valley, and primarily in EJ communities. We're already learning to combine some of the sprays so we can cut one of those down. We actually got them 5 to 4. Now, thanks to the science, we are able to control one of our pests systemically. The spray we're taking out is a 1 mile an hour spray. The rest of them are usually around 3 miles an hour. So this one spray job is almost like the other 3 combined. So it's a real plus for us. What I would encourage or like to see is a greater partnership out of Washington, because these are additional costs to the grower. We want to keep our folks working. We want to keep our food supply steady and growing. We need to make sure that we stay on a level playing field with other nations, that they can't come in and hurt us, so that we can continue to, even though it costs us more to use these new chemicals and use the science, it's better for the environment. And I'd like to see, I am really excited about the idea of more partnership at all levels, from an EJ standpoint, from the production standpoint, from the science standpoint. So I'm very encouraged by all this. Thank you.
I think it's appropriate that the last question of the PM conference comes from the Valley Air District, probably the most knowledgeable PM. James Sweet, I could justify that.
Actually, I wanted to give a feedback for one of the questions was asked just a while ago about what should the scientific community be doing in the future. And one of the things was already mentioned, that I said, and that is speciation. And what I'm talking about there is every time you assess particulates wherever you are in the country, you must know what they're made of, so that this information can be cross-compared. If we're talking about endotoxins, don't just measure the number, find out what's in it. If we don't know the differences around the country, we won't be able to make sense of that data later on. So my feedback is partly to stay focused on learning the contents, so that as we continue to get this health effects information, we can interpret it. And the last one is one you won't like me to say. Don't get caught up in the sexy science of the next best thing. We do a lot of work now with ultrafines, and that may be valuable. But if we understand that it's much lower on the health impacts, abandon the sexy science and concentrate on where our health impacts are. So we do want to learn about all these things and assess them. Once we assess them, if we find they're not the cornerstone of what we need to be addressing, turn back to the cornerstone of what we need to address.
I thought you were going to ask, how do we manage to be the best air district in the state?
Okay. Well, folks, we've reached the end of the line. I know I've been allocated a couple of minutes to make some concluding comments. First of all, I want to thank Syed in particular, and also Jamie, because they both really shared my vision for this conference. A couple of the scientists, they also want to make a particular thank. First of all, Dr. Henry Foreman. We had I think we met over at Uncle Harry's for about 3 hours one morning. And I came out of there feeling a little bit more confident about actually being able to pull off. And I know also Tony Wexler, I know he's not here today. Mike Freeman, I had some great conversations with them down at the San Diego Aerosol Conference. And all the rest of the scientists that took time to come down here. I've heard a number of people comment to me that they found that the conference was valuable. I hope you shared that view. It certainly was for me. And I'll let you have my little secret. It was really about me efficiently learning from all these people, so I didn't have to read all this journal. You know, we're going to continue to struggle. We're a capital of the global food system. I think Fresno is one of the capital of the global food system. What we do in this valley confers incredible health benefits to the rest of the nation and to the world. But of course, we have some unintended consequences of that important service that this amazing region serves. And that is we have to deal with the unintended consequences, whether that's pollution, poverty, and of course the environment that we live in that tends to concentrate both poverty and pollution. So again, as we look forward, I hope that everyone will take away from this conference some of the key points that we found out. The organic carbon compounds, poster child of which is the PAH, primarily a product of combustion. It's been established to trigger a whole number of different kinds of inflammatory responses within the human body. We found out today some fascinating work that Terry Gordon and several of his colleagues have done on the effect